Tom here, Flip Anything. I got a video out, well, earlier, so I'm going to have to probably release it a little bit later now. I had a little trouble loading it. I've been on the road here the last few days. This other... it didn't like that... it didn't like this connection we got, so I may have just got disconnected here. We'll see. Anyways, but I went back to my old neighborhood where I bought the first building when I was 19, and then I just kind of walked up and down the street, and also, it was kind of reminding myself of the other investments that I'd made at that time, and so I pretty much just walked the street and kind of went in a little bit of detail on the surrounding buildings and houses that I also had bought in that area at that time, between the age of about 19 and, 22, 23 years old. And, I made quite a chunk of money in that time, and it was a lot of money. I mean, probably several $100,000, at between 19 and 23 years old. So, it's like this video I said the other day, it's just so important just to get started. Start with something small, if that's, whatever it takes. If you can't, if you guys got big money, go ahead and, find something. It's just math. So if you find something you can rent, you can pretty much easily determine what you can rent in your neighborhood. And if you can buy it, buy it. If you can, do the numbers on it and see if you can't get a, 12-15% return on your investment or on the overall number, because you're going to leverage in with whatever you got. And something I want to remind you of is that, always ask for owner financing, because, this is a time when you don't get anything on your money in the bank. I mean, I've never been much of a saver anyways, but money in the bank is like, the interest that the bank pays you isn't squat. I mean, when I was a kid, we call them T-bills, but those T-bills were, a commitment to put your money in for 10 years, but they'd pay 10% interest. At the time I didn't appreciate it. And oh shit. Yeah, I have a... Not sure what the laws are in this state, but I had a patrolman next to me, and so I don't know that I'm allowed to have this on the window here talking. So, in an abundance of caution, I sat still for a second, and you're probably about to see him in my rearview mirror or over my shoulder. There he is. Anyways, back on topic. Actually heading back to the airport now, and. Sorry for that pause, but I'm about heading back to the rental car return. So, anyways, back on subject here. It's just get started and start, buy something, and like I say, if you got money to put down on a rental, it's simple math, to figure that out. And like I said, when I was a kid, interest, the banks would give you 10% interest. I mean, if they're paying 10% interest now, shoot, I'd put a whole pile of cash in there. But that's not what's happening anymore. Right now just think of this, you got $1 million. All right, we seem to have a terrible connection. I have no idea how good or bad this is coming through, but hopefully you can deal with the intermittency. But like I said, when I was a kid, you get 10% interest from the bank. Now you get less than 1%. My example I was given is that on $1 million in the bank, you only get $10,000 a year. When I was a kid, you get $100,000 a year. So why that's significant to you as an investor is that you can get people potentially to carry a note, owner finance, because a lot of people, they bought these properties with the intention of, when they got old, they were gonna just put this money in the bank that they from their properties being paid off. Well, now they don't get anything for their money. So now they're incentivized to go ahead and carry a note for you. So never be afraid to ask somebody to carry a note. because in all likelihood they're going to just put the money in the bank anyways. And think about that. If you were going to retire and you had several $100,000 equity in your property, do you really want to put it back in the bank, have them pay you less than 1%, and then you're going to turn around and loan it? You're going to turn around, the bank's going to turn around and loan your money out to somebody else at, say, 5%. And so I mean, what's the sense? You're going to put your money in the bank, and then they're going to loan it out to somebody else and make 4% on your money. And so that's something to make a seller aware of, because they may just scratch their head, as I've seen many times before, and go, you know what, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. And they'll be concerned about collateral, but you say, hey, you know what, collateral's your property. And I mean, so you know that collateral's better or as good as anybody. And so of course then they may want to get a significant payment. So maybe what you can say is, look, we'll go ahead and go into escrow, and I'll put $5,000 down now, and you'll carry the balance, but I'll increase it by another $50,000 in 6 months, okay, or $100,000 in 6 months. And you can do that because if you're buying it right, you're going to flip it anyways. So then you just go find somebody, either buy it and give you the other $55,000, or whatever you agreed to give them additionally, and you'll have them come up with that money. They'll put it down, and then they can take it over, and maybe you'll create a second, and maybe your profit will be in the form of a second. And I've carried many seconds too. Now, they're not 100%, because in tough times people can default, and then you're faced with deciding whether you want to take the property back, if you're going to foreclose on that second and take the property over from them, which can sometimes be a real deal. You'll have to make that decision for yourself. But if it ever comes to that, probably won't. Or just flip it, and sell it. They'll get a new loan. It'll clear out that they're carrying anyways, and then you just take your profit and move on. And so anyways, I just wanted to explain why I didn't get a video out this morning. The one I tried loading last night did not work. And but if I can